Welcome to first session of design of FIR filters, that is module 3. In this session we are going to discuss the some of the topics like this: introduction to discrete time systems, input output description, block diagram representation of discrete time systems, and analysis of discrete time systems, and what are the various structures for realization of discrete time systems. Now, in many applications of digital signal processing, we wish to design a device or an algorithm that performs some prescribed operations on discrete time signal. Such a device or algorithm is called as discrete time system. Okay, so that algorithm it performs some prescribed operations on the on a discrete time signal. Okay, now such algorithm, or it may be a device also, so that is called as discrete time signal. So very specifically, a discrete time system is nothing but a device or algorithm that operates on a discrete time signal, which is called as input or excitation. So input to the discrete time signal on which the system is going to operate is known as input or excitation. Okay, and that operation will be performed according to some well defined rule, and that operation is going to produce another discrete time signal, and that signal is known as output or response of the system. Okay, so now here, as shown in the block diagram representation, x of n is a input or excitation signal, so which passes into the discrete time system. So after processing, the signal that comes out of the system is designated as y of n, and it is known as a output signal or response. So therefore here the relation between y of n and x of n is y of n is equal to x of n operated. Okay, or y of n is a signal which is obtained after performing some operation on the x of n. Okay, so here the symbol T represents the operation that's been done on the input signal x of n. So therefore now let us know so how to describe the input and output for this system, or we will see what is the particular or exact description of input and output of a discrete time signal. Yeah. Now this input output description of a discrete time system, it consists of an expression. Okay, so it consists of an expression or rule. Okay, so the input or input output description is nothing but an expression or rule which defines the relation between input and output signals, and that is known as input output relation. Okay, so therefore the relation between input and output of a discrete time signal is defined by either an expression or a rule. Okay, so therefore here the exact internal structure of the system is either unknown or it can be ignored. So because we are directly relating the outputs with the input or input with the output, that's all. So therefore the very detailed internal structure of the system can be ignored. So thus the only way to interact with the system is by using its input and output terminals. So that is, you can imagine the entire system as a black box. So therefore now, in order to reflect this particular aspect, so we can use graphical representations, so as shown in the previous slide. Okay, so in general through expression also we can describe like this. So for a applied x of n, okay, after the operation t, the system is going to generate the signal y of n. Okay, so now this is as good as writing the block diagram or graphical representation that x of n after passing through the discrete time system generates y of n. So these two are same. Okay, so therefore now here as previously described, x of n is nothing but it is the input or excitation. So y of n is the output or the response. Okay, and this tau is nothing but it is going to represent the operation that is being carried out on the signal x of n. Okay, so now let us take some examples to illustrate different systems. So here the meaning of system is nothing but it is an equation or a representation. Okay, so which shows some predefined rules. So for example, assume that a discrete time signal is described by like this. Okay, so x of n is equal to magnitude of n, and it is described for the range of n values like this, and it is 0 otherwise. So the meaning of this particular representation of x of n is x of n value is equal to n, magnitude of n, for n whose range is between -3 to 3 and its value is 0 otherwise. Okay, so now this is the input to the system, discrete time system. So now we can write different expressions of the outputs by various relations. For example, now I want to evaluate like this: y of n is equal to x of n. So this is one input output expression. Okay, so now here, as it is given that y of n, which is nothing but a response, is equal to x of n, that is the input or the excitation. Now this system is known as an identity system. This is known as an identity system. Okay, so because every y of n sample is same as x of n sample only. Okay, so therefore whatever x of n you provide, okay, so for example as described uh, in the problem, so x of n can be now written as, okay, so its value is 3 2 1 0, again 1 2 3, afterwards 0, so same. So because it is described that x of n exists only between -3 to +3. Okay, so this is x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3. Similarly x of -1, -2, -3. So on either side of the origin, the value of x of n sample is magnitude of n only. Okay, so it means what now? The meaning of this the given equation is x of 0 is nothing but 0. Okay, similarly x of 1 is nothing but magnitude of n, it is nothing but n here is 1, so therefore its value is 1. Similarly x of 2 is nothing but magnitude of n, it is nothing but 2, so x of 3 is nothing but again magnitude of n, that is nothing but 3 only. So now coming to the other side, what is this x of -1? X of -1 is also magnitude of n, so therefore its value is 1 only. So that's why here see this, we are writing +1. Okay, similarly x of -2 is equal to again magnitude of n, that is equal to 2, and x of -3 sample, its value is also 3 only. So now this is what is the description of the input sequence. Okay, so now when you apply this discrete sequence to your discrete time system, then we can define the various operations that are done by the system on this signal x of n through equations or through representations. Okay, so one of the representations is y of n is equal to x of n. So therefore in this case now I can directly write that y of n is again same as x of n. So therefore my answer for this particular problem is again 0 3 2 1 0 1 2 3 only. So this is what is the solution. Okay, because it is an identity system. So that is the first example. So let us take one more relation between x of n and y of n. So it is defined like this. So y of n is equal to x of n minus 1. Now the meaning of this expression is y of n is equal to the previous sample in the x of n sequence, that is delayed sample of x of n sequence. So therefore this represents a unit delay system. This represents unit delay system. It represents unit delay system. Okay, so therefore now this is expression which gives a relation between input and the output. So therefore further if you want to write the solution, you can always write the solution like this. So now already we know that x of n is equal to, okay, so it is defined as minus plus 3 2 1 0 1 2 3 0, it goes on like this. So therefore now in this case, as it is a unit delay, y of n is equal to, now here it is the origin, but for y of n, the response here it will be 0 3 2 1, okay, then 0 1 2 3, okay. So now this is what is the response. So it means that when you are evaluating present sample of y of n, that is for example y of 0, it is equal to x of minus 0, because n is equal to 0. Similarly, y of 1 is nothing but x of 0. So therefore you can see here that whenever y of 0 you are evaluating, it is equal to the previous, that is x of minus 1. Whenever we are evaluating y of 1, it is equal to x of 0. So therefore here there is 1 bit delay. Okay. Now x of minus 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, x of 0 is equal to 0. Similarly, we can go on writing the examples. Y of 2 is nothing but 2 minus 1, 1. Okay, so x of 1 is nothing but 1. So therefore this is another relationship. So this relationship shows a unit delay system. So similarly, let us consider one more relation, which is like this. So our y of n is equal to 1 by 3 x of n plus 1, okay, plus x of n plus x of n minus 1. Now in this system, it's an averaging system. Okay, so this system can be called as a moving averaging system. It is. Okay, so now this system is an average of 3 samples of x of n. Okay, so therefore here when I evaluating y of 0, so now actually I am evaluating first the sum, okay, and later on we will take the average. So y x of 1 plus x of 0 plus x of minus 1. So this is equal to 1 by 3 into x of 1 sample. So whatever x of 1 sample is 1 in our case, x of 0 sample is 0, plus x of minus 1 sample is again 1. That is, if you can remember the previous x of n sequence. Okay, so therefore in this case it is equal to 1 by 3 into 2. So this is equal to 2 by 3. So therefore the first sample of y of n sequence, that is y of 0, is equal to 2 by 3. So like this, it is possible to relate, okay, so y of n and x of n in different ways. So this is a brief introduction about input and output descriptions. Now let us take the block diagram representation of discrete time systems. So therefore, how is uh, um, the block diagram representation for a DTS? Okay, now in that let us take in the first example like an adder. What is a block diagram representation? Okay, so block diagram representation for an adder. Okay. So in adder system, what I have two inputs. So one is x1 of n and the other one is x2 of n. So it will be added and here I am writing y of n. Okay, so now when my inputs are x1 of n and x2 of n, so I can represent in this form also, in this also, like this. This is x2 of n applied to the adder, and the output of adder is y of n. Output of the adder is y of n. Okay, so similarly, I can also represent the block diagram for the multiplication. For example, it is like this. Whenever I want to implement y of n is equal to a into x of n, so it means that we have a signal x of n and it should pass through a branch whose weight is a, and the resulting here output at this point is y of n. Okay, so this is equal to a times x of n, a times x of n. Okay, that is one thing. Similarly, I can represent one delay element also. So for example, if I want to implement this, y of n is equal to x of n minus 1. Okay, now this is an expression which shows y of n is equal to a unit delay response. Now for this system, uh, this particular implementation, the basic block requires a memory. Okay, and this particular system, okay, it simply delays the signal passing through it by one sample. So therefore, in order to illustrate such a system, so we can write a block diagram like this. So I have a x of n, and this delay is represented by z inverse, and then this is y of n, this is equal to x of n minus 1. Okay. Now the use of this symbol z inverse, okay, this denotes the delay. This denotes the delay. Okay. So now similar to this, we can also represent a unit advance elements also. So a unit advance element, okay, so this is represented as what? Y of n is equal to x of n plus 1, x of n plus 1. Okay, now for this the representation would be x of n, okay, then it is equal z, it will pass through z, so this is y of n, which is equal to x of n plus 1. That is, the meaning here is when you are calculating y of 0, the output is x of 1. Similarly, when you are calculating y of 1, output will be x of 2. So this is called unit advanced system. Okay. So therefore now with the help of various building blocks here, so far we have seen from the 3-4 examples that there is a delay element and there is a adder element. So with the help of these basic building blocks, so it is possible to sketch the block diagram representations for different discrete time systems, or to which describe various input output relations. Say for example, so here I have a relation y of n is equal to 1 by 4 into y of n minus 1 plus 1 by 2 into x of n plus 1 by 2 into x of n minus 1. Okay. So now this is one input output relation. So where x of n is the input and y of n is output of the system. Now in order to show this system through block diagram, so what are the elements I need? Okay, now here I have y of n minus 1. So this is one delay element. Okay, and x of n minus 1. So here is one more delay element. Okay, so now there are adders also, because 1 by 4 into y of n minus 1 is added with 1 by 2 x of n, and that sum is again added with 1 by 2 times of x of n minus 1. Okay, so therefore the system requires two adders, as well as there are two delay elements. So therefore the the box or the block diagram in this case would be like this. So what I have is on the leftmost side the x of n signal. The x of n is added as it is, but it is multiplied by 1 by 2, and also this x of n will be delayed by 1 unit, giving x of n minus 1. So therefore now I have two paths here. Okay, so in one path I am showing the delay, that is z inverse. Okay, and this z inverse after the delay it will be multiplied by 1 by 2 here. So therefore here this for 1 by 2 I'll simply write 0.5. The other one, okay, is as it is, that is 1 by 2 into x of n. So therefore this path will be simply multiplied by 1.5, half. Okay, and these two are added. Okay, and you can show the addition between the two x of n and x of n minus 1. Okay, so now this sum, the sum between, okay, this and this will be added to y of n minus 1. So here I need one more adder. Okay, so to which we are going to add the delay. Okay, so here anyway it is y of n. Y of n is again delayed by one sample, and that delay will be given here to this adder, and that is multiplied by what? 1 by 4, that is 0.25. So therefore now this is the block diagram representation for this input output relation. Okay, so therefore the block diagrams are going to give us the pictorial representation of the discrete time systems. So similar to this, you can have any combination and you can have any number of delay elements, any number of adders. Okay, so therefore whatever the expressions are there, mathematical expressions are there, which are actually representing the discrete systems, they can be put in the form of diagrams, and that is known as the block diagram representations of the discrete time systems. Okay, so now let us look deep some points regarding the analysis. Okay, so analysis of discrete time systems. So whenever you are performing the analysis, okay, or study about the discrete time systems, what we are studying in that is for the applied input x of n, how the system responds. Okay, so in order to analyze the response of the discrete time system for the applied x of n or the applied excitation, there are some techniques that are followed. So what are the techniques we have? So there are basically two methods for analyzing the behavior or response of the linear system to the given input signal. The first method is a direct solution. It is known as a direct solution method. So this direct solution of the input output equation of the system has a general form like this. That is y of n is equal to some f of y n minus 1 comma y n minus 2. Okay, so then up to y n minus n, okay, comma, so x of n minus 1, okay, so up to n minus m. So what is this? This is some general format for direct solution method, So where f dot, okay, so here we have f dot, so this represents some function of the quantities. Okay, so this represents some function of the quantities inside the brackets. Okay, so now what are these functions now? Specifically for a LTI system. Okay, so for a LTI system, this y of n is described as, okay, so minus for k values from 1 to n, ak y of n minus k is plus from k equal to 0 to m bk into x of n minus k. Okay, that is the direct solution specifically for an LTI system, which is represented by this equation. Now in this equation, obviously ak and bk, so they are the constant parameters and to specify the system, and they are independent of x of n and y of n. Okay, now the input output relationship given by this equation is called as difference equation, and it represents one method of characterizing the behavior of discrete time systems. Okay, so later we will see what is the solution of these systems and all, but this is one method. What is the second method of analyzing? What is the second method? In the second method of analyzing, okay, so the input signal, okay, the input signal x of n is first decomposed. It is first decomposed or resolved into sum of elementary signal, decomposed into sum of elementary signals, and the elementary signals are selected so that response of the system to each signal component is easily determined. Okay. So then using linearity property of the system, the responses of the system to the elementary signals are added to obtain the total response of the system. Okay. So this method, the second method of analysis, what it involves? It involves decomposition of the input signal into some elementary signals. Then response is individually calculated for each elementary signal. Then using linearity property of the system. Okay, so using linearity property of the system, the responses of the system to all the elementary signals are added to obtain the total response of the system. Okay, so that is the second method. Now in this case also, whatever the final we have the response y of k, it is given as some operation on x of k signals. Y k here represents the decomposed version. Okay, so x of n, because x of n is split into different parts, x1 x2. Okay, so x1 x2 up to x of k. So for each elementary signal, the corresponding the response is calculated up to y of k. Okay, so therefore this method involves resolving the input signal. Now these are the two methods for analysis of the discrete time signals. So now when it comes to realizing the discrete time signals, what are the methods available and what are the structures available in order to realize the discrete time system? So therefore, what are the structures for realization? What are the structures available for realization? Okay, now here we will consider linear time invariant discrete time systems. Okay, and what is the feature of linear time discrete time systems is they are characterized by general linear constant coefficient difference equation. Okay, so an LTI system, it is characterized by linear constant coefficient differential equation. Okay, and that differential equation, it is given as, so y of n is equal to minus from k is equal to 1 to n ak into y of n minus k plus some k equal to 0 to m bk into x of n minus k. Okay, so now using the z transform, the above equation is represented as rational system function like this. H of z is equal to summation from k is equal to 0 to m bk into z to the power of minus k, this divided by 1 plus summation k equal to 1 to n ak into z to the power of minus k. Okay, so now call this as equation 1 and this is equation 2. So now these are the two equations. The second equation, it is a ratio of two polynomials in z inverse. Okay, so now this is going to provide the zeros and poles of the system function, and they further depend on the choice of system parameters bk and ak. Okay, so therefore equation 1, it can be viewed as a computational procedure or an algorithm for determining the output sequence y of n of the system for an applied input sequence x of n. Okay, but in many ways. Okay, so the computations which are shown in equation 1, it is arranged into some equivalent sets of difference equations. Okay, and each set of equations defines a computational procedure or an algorithm for implementing the system. Okay, so therefore from each set of these equations we can further construct the block diagrams which consist of interconnection of delay elements, multipliers, adders as shown. Okay, so therefore that's why in the previous sections we have shown the block diagram representation. It is because those block diagrams, they consist of the delay elements, adders and multipliers, and they are further used in the realization of the structures, discrete time structures. Okay, so therefore these block diagrams are known as realization of the system, or equivalently they are also called as structures for realizing the systems. Okay, so therefore if the system can be implemented in software or in the block diagram form, or equivalently as a set of equations by arrangement of the above two equations. And further, the above two equations can also be converted into programs that can be run on the digital computer. Okay, therefore alternatively, so the structures in the block diagrams in the block diagram form, okay, so they imply hardware configurations for implementing the systems. So therefore, in the next session we will see how exactly to draw the structures for finite impulse response systems, or FIR systems.